Yo, what up everybody, it's Peace-Eye. Welcome back to another video. As promised, I've got the deck profile that I got first place at Locals with, and I'm going to show you my text, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the theory and how I crafted this deck. It took about a week. Losing Rusty means that you need to, Alta Galatea, shoutouts to that. Losing Rusty means that you're not able to extend as much on your first turn, and it does kind of make it a Top Logic Bomber Dragon Turbo in certain scenarios. But if you open up Instant Fusion, you can still do the Winda play to prevent your opponent from special summoning. I needed something to fill the gaps. I thought about playing like Solemns, like Strikes and Judgments and stuff, but those are only really good going first, or if you have Floodgates to go along with them, like Rivalry Strike can eat a board. But I've got stuff in my side deck for eating boards. What I wanted to do was stop my opponent from doing anything, so I made a lot of hand traps. So let's get into the profile and I'll show you guys.
Alrighty.
Alright. So let's start with the main deck. The Orcust package is still pretty standard. I did end up cutting one of the Harp Horrors, so now I'm playing 2-2-1-1. The reason I cut the Harp Horror is because in testing, I was seeing it in my hand often, and with the way that the deck currently is, having Harp Horror in your hand without an extender is not very good. The old version ran Dangers, this one does not, so it's less likely to have an extender that you can use to link off your Harp Horror, so I ended up just putting it down to one, or down to two, because you still want to have one in deck, so if you draw one, it's okay, but just like the Nightmare, but now it's not something that can start your combo as easily, so I reduced it to two, so it's a lot less likely to see it. Alright, so that's all the Orcusts. Now, some of the starters. I only own one Scrap Recycler. I might bump this to 3 if I get my hands on another 2, but in their place, I run 2 Mathematician. This actually got attacked over during the tournament by an Inspector Border, and I attempted to activate the effect, and he was like, no, Border. So I didn't get to draw my card, but whatever. This can send something you'll see later in the main deck. I was running Glow Up Bulb and Steam the Cloak, but I refined it to be more consistent. I didn't want crazy one-ofs, and I didn't want to have to like run Link Karibo for the Glow Up Bulb and stuff. Like, it was just too much. The Scrap Recycler is even better than the Mathematician, because it can send anything, any machine, so it's really good. I really like this card. Alright, next is Triple Sangan. So what you do with Sangan is you link into Almirage. If you have an extender, you search a hand trap. If you don't have an extender, you search Reclusia. And Sangan's errata makes it so that you can't activate the effects of the monster. It doesn't say you can't summon it, and its summoning conditions is you can summon it to a zone a link monster points to. So Sangan is now a one-card combo for your Nightmares with Almirage's existence. So that is another way to get in there. Hopefully you drew an Instant Fusion along with this, or another extender, so that you can do a full combo and search a hand trap for your opponent's turn. So that's the theory behind that.
That's pretty broken.
Next, I run 2 Olion. I only own 2, but I don't think I would play 3 if I had the third one. This is also something that's really cool. I took out the Glow Up Bulb and the Steam the Cloak for an extra one of these, because I was just running one of these. You can send this off of Mathematician for full combo, because when it's sent to the grave, you get a token. You can search it off of... No. You can send it off of Scrap Recycler as well, or you can send it off of Foolish Burial. So, like, whenever this hits the grave, it'll activate the effect to summon the Phantom token or whatever. Also, it has a grave effect that when it's in graveyard, you can banish it, and immediately after that resolves, you can normal summon a Mecha Phantom beast from your hand. So, I mean, that's never happened yet, but, I mean, it could come up. So yeah, this is token generation, and this by itself is full combo. You don't need to send it to grave with another card. You literally normal summon it, link summon into Almirage, it'll summon a token, boom, you have 2 monsters with different names. And that's full combo, so I really like this card as well. Next up is the hand traps. Those are all the starters, so, all the monster starters. We'll get into that later. But as for hand traps, I've got Triple Ash. This is really good. It can stop a lot of things. Triple Veiler, I really like this format because, I mean, like, Veiler stops any monster effect on the field during your opponent's turn. Double Ghost Ogre, I didn't want to do 3 because Ghost Ogre, I feel, doesn't hit as many cards as these ones do. 2 Phantasme, I only own 2. But 2 is fine. I mean, I ended up facing a Draco player, so I had to side those out. But when I did see it and activate it, it's a +1 minimum.
A salty Draco player.
Of course. And then finally for the monster hand traps, I run triple Droll. So that's 13. Main decking Droll is an interesting meta choice, but I feel like if I go up against Danger Thunder, I want a chance game 1 to have something for them, as well as having something for Pendulum, because, and even Sky Striker, depending on the hand, if they open up Engage or Terraforming or something like that, they're going to start off with that. If they don't have the Call by the Grave, Droll and Lockbird can end their turn, and then I'll have other cards to use for follow-up, because I won't have to waste my other hand traps that I drew. So that's 13 hand traps right there, and obviously the 3 impermanences are coming later, so that's 16 total.
Busted.
In 44 cards. All right, I only own 2 Engage, but this card's phenomenal. I didn't appreciate this in the last format, because at the end of that, I was using the Trickstar engine, but this engine is phenomenal. So I've got basically 3 copies of Sky Striker Hornet drones, which is amazing. And then this can protect your mermaid. It's also searchable, so if you end up drawing Engage, you can Engage for the Hornet drones, use the Hornet drones, go into Kagari, grab your Engage back, and then use your normal summon, like maybe a Sangan, go full combo after you, well, you have to use your Engage again to get this, which will protect your mermaid. So then you can, like, normal one of your extenders, like a Mathematician or a Sangan or something, search a hand trap when you go for your Nightmare, and then if they have something for your mermaid, you get to protect it with this, and you have that hand trap from the Sangan. So that's a small main deck Sky Striker engine. Next up for spell extenders, I've got 3 Instant Fusion. We're still playing 3 with the 2 targets. I'll get into that when we get into the extra deck, but this is amazing going first and a phenomenal going second. Last spell extender is Foolish Burial. This sends anything. A lot of people with this format are playing Monster Reborn, but I feel like that can be a brick if you don't already have something in your grave. Of course you can have stuff in your grave, but not necessarily. Most of the time I would probably be reborning a hand trap, so I decided to just go with the Foolish Burial tech instead of something else. For responding to my opponent, Call by the Grave, this is good first or second. I mean, you can either beta negate when they tribute their Heretic Seal to banish it, which is really nice, or you can use it on hand traps. This is super versatile, and just first or second, it's really good. So you kind of have to play it if it's just something that powerful. The last spell is Orchestrated Babble. This makes everything in quick effect, and you can do your Topologic Bomber garbage. Finally, for the traps, only 4 triple impermanence, which is basically a hand trap, and it can turn off floodgates. And then an Orcust Crescendo for negating and banishing when you have a certain hand. All right, let's get into the extra deck. 1 Almirage for the combos. It turns Olion and Sangan into full combo now, which is really nice. So that's a really powerful card. The 1 Kagari, I was thinking of increasing the Sky Striker engine, like having the Wind one that can attack directly. And like dumping like an Engage and then adding it back and then doing shenanigans, but I decided that I just don't have enough room, which is why I only play 1 Mermaid, and then I do play the full Nightmare package. This utility is phenomenal. I see people cutting Unicorn, but I go into Unicorn every other game. It's just so powerful to be able to shuffle back something that you target on the field, and I love the arrows, and it's a big body, and it's just amazing. I don't know why people cut this. Next up, I've got the Orcust monsters, the Link monsters. I've got double Galatea. 3, I see a lot of people playing 3, but I mean, that's just too much extra deck space. Resource management, baby. 3 is too much. I mean, 2 is fine. The 1 Longirsu, this you summon a lot more now. Rest in peace, Rusty. But yeah, this can shuffle stuff back, and if it's linked, it can't be destroyed by card effects, which means if you summon it to your Topologic Bombers zone, Bomber's effect will activate, but this will not be destroyed. And obviously you have Babble because you're summoning this on your opponent's turn, so you can use that to shuffle their extra Monster Zone monster, or shuffle your banished cards to send theirs to grave if they get past your Topologic Bomber, which is really nice if they don't have effect negation or other disruption to get rid of your Bomber. Ironically, Instant Fusion into Thousand Eyes outs Bomber, and so does Reclusia, both of which I play just in case I run into the mirror match. Finally, for the Link monsters, Boral Sword. You don't need Boral Load anymore because of the existence of Dingirsu, which you do play 2 of. This is for finishing off people, OTKing, but I mean, just its existence means that people scoop when you have monsters, and you can just show them your Boral Sword, and then they scoop. Dingirsu needs no explanation. This card is phenomenal. I love this card. It's amazing. Protection and sending and attaching from banished. So broken. Finally, for the last two, very tight extra deck, I run the Thousand Eyes Restrict and then the Winda for making it so that my opponent can only summon once, which I would argue is better than the Topologic board because you get to set Crescendo, you have a Ding, a Galatea, and Winda, all for just instant fusion plus full combo. And you're most likely going to end up with a hand trap or two on top of that, so that's probably optimal board. Finally, the tokens, I use those for something I forgot. I use this for my Mecha Phantom Beast, and I use this for my Sky Striker.
Heart of the cards.
Heart of the cards, baby. Alright, so finally, side deck. I play Super Poly, guys. So I side these three. It was a lot more originally, but after some deliberation, I decided that these cover the most. And I can just link summon into my Almirage, and then fuse with any one of their Link monsters. If Link monsters ever get broken in this format, I can just keep this in and just fuse with any Link monster, which is really nice, and gain that attack buff, and I can even use it on my turn, which is insane, so like that's really nice. I was playing Vortex Dragon for Pendulums, because it needs one Odd Eyes and one Pendulum monster, but I'm like, they usually end on either an Endymion or a Jackal as well, or Borreload Savage if they're playing that build. So I decided that this covers more bases, and I don't need to play all these random cards for specific scenarios. And then this is the generic Double Dark. This card's phenomenal. I used this in tournament in my final round against Danger Thunder. I fused away his Diabolus and his Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, and then increased my attack by his remaining Hope Harbinger Dragon. So I was at 58. I attacked over and just went full combo. It was over after that. Now, the theory behind these two is they're a searchable Forbidden Chalice. So if my opponent is trying to dodge impermanence, and they're waiting for my normal summon for their Abyss Dweller, for example, I can normal summon whatever, activate effect, they'll chain Abyss Dweller, and I can... Oh, wait. I just realized that doesn't work. Okay, no, like, you activate... No, you activate... Okay, you activate, like, Foolish Barrel or a spell or something, so that they know they can't get impermanence. That's when you use it. Forbidden Chalice would be better in that scenario, but I want it to be searchable and addable off of Kagari.
You need a Reaper Docus on the side.
Maybe. But yeah, so you can't control any monsters in the main monster zone, but I doubt you're ever going to use the steal effect, because like there's not that many spells in the deck, but I mean, I really like being able to use this, and it's searchable. You usually, like against Danger Thunder, you'll side these in to beta negate before you start your plays, and you'll side out the engages. It won't be searchable anymore, but you can still technically add it back with Kagari, because you're not going to side out your drones. So that's nice, because the Colossus makes you not search. But anyway, so I run two of those. I mean, they could be Forbidden Chalices if you're trying to copy this deck and go budget, but you will need something to make like extra extenders. You might need to run Dangers if you don't have engages. Next is Triple Super Poly. This card at 3 now is phenomenal. You don't need to run Raw Sphere mode, because you literally just eat boards and they can't respond to it. Like, it's just so good.
Stupid.
Mystic Mine still exists, so we're going to have to side 3 Twin Twisters. If you drop Mystic Mine on me during Game 1, I kind of lose. I don't think I have anything in main deck to out it. I was thinking of playing the Sky Striker card, Afterburners. If I have 3 spells engraved, after I pop the monster on resolution, I can pop their Mystic Mine, but I could not find room for it. I don't want to play 45. But in a later iteration, I may include Afterburners as that spicy extra tech that is also searchable, that I can use to pop spells and traps from my main deck. So, I don't know. I'm toying with that. If you have an idea, please post in the comments so I can figure that out. So Twin Twisters in the side for back row and stuff. Finally, for the traps that I sided is Triple Evenly. I feel like it's a little bit better this format. It'll beta negate at worst. Unfortunately, you lose your battle phase, which I've forgotten so many times during the tournament. I'll like make a Boral Sword after I Evenly, and they're like, yeah, you're already battle phase, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really dumb. And then finally, you've got your Imperial Order just as an auto win card against Sky, because that is still floating around. And if you're going against like a back row deck that has Mystic Mine in it, this will give you. This is another Twin Twister kinda that you can kind of activate and hope it doesn't get dark bribed. But I think all those decks are dead. Hopefully. All right. So really quick matchups. Leo was game 1, and he had Cosmo. He bricked, which happens, but then I was looking at his spread after, and he was not running enough pilots. He was just focusing on a ton of traps, and I think that's why he bricked so much. So that was fine. Game 2, I was up against Oscar, and he was playing Magical Musketeers. He did his thing and stuff. I had the hand trap for his Magical Musketeer max, so he couldn't gain advantage, and I kind of just out-advantaged him because the hand traps like overwhelmed him. Like if you stop their normal summon and you prevent them from activating their effects, that deck kind of like dies. So that was really cool. Then round 3, I faced Anthony. He was playing True Draco. It was a really long game. We ended up going to game 3, and I just out-advantaged him. Game 3 was crazy. I left one of my evenlies in, or was I going first or second? No, I think I had all 3 of my evenlies in. But I drew an evenly for turn. After getting even lead, I had 2 cards in hand. I was able to evenly him. It was a really interesting back and forth. It was a very interesting game. But apparently this deck can play through floodgates, which I really appreciate. Dingirshu is broken. Skill Drain doesn't mean anything if I can summon from my deck with Harp. I love this deck. And then round 4, I faced Dan, who was playing Danger Thunder. He ended up getting second. I went first, made the Top Logic Bomber board. He could not play through it. I just blew up his board twice, and that was it. So he scooped. Then he went first. I sided in my Super Polys. I drew Super Poly for turn, but here's the kicker. He did not have 2 Dark Monsters. He kind of bricked. I think I hand-trapped him once. He ended up on a Hieratic Seal, which is a light monster. And you know my 3 targets for my Super Poly. He had the light monster, the thing that negates spells, Hope Harbinger, and then finally the negating guy, Hot Red Dragon, Archfiend Abyss. So, I normal summon my O-Lion like, please don't bounce this, please don't bounce this. He bounced my O-Lion. It only gets the token when it's sent to the grave, so I'm like, rest in peace. I like literally die. And he was like, thinking on effect of Hieratic Seal. He ended up summoning Diablos, like I said a little bit earlier, and I was able to Super Poly in for my Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, gain the attack of his Hope Harbinger. Yeah, Tony, that was a really big misplay, I guess. He was thinking about summoning another Dark Dragon. Either way, I was able to summon my double Dark Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, and then at that point it was over. So those are our matchups. I got first place, undefeated. Obviously, this is a children's card game where it's by chance, so luck is involved. I'm not saying this is the best version of the deck, which is why I need your guys' help. If you see anything wrong or anything I could improve, I'm willing to read what you guys think. But yeah, 16 main deck hand traps. This format, I feel, especially now that it's trying to develop, is really good because you just stop whatever your opponent's doing and then literally one card. There's so many, I believe there's 14 1/1.5 card combos for full combo to do insane Orcust things because they just plus you so hard, and you just run the rest hand traps. So that was the theory behind the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I guess I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.